Hello and good morning. It is August the 3rd. I don't know about you, but I cannot believe it's August. I'm just like, how is it August already?
I
And
know.
this year, it always flies by, and you should be shopping for Q4. Today, we are going to discuss a lot of different things like we've been doing the last few weeks. So, we don't have one big topic, but we just have lots of mini topics. One of them is Amazon's AI system that they're using. For search visibility for your listing, how they suggest it to customers, and how the way we change the way we make our listings has changed. That's one of the things we're covering. We are covering Amazon now is not paying for advertising on Google and how that could possibly help you if you are somebody that is a private label seller or have your own brand. And then we have a series of questions that people have asked us on our YouTube channel that we are going to answer live. Even if they're not watching, they may be questions that you have too.
Yes. And I just did two Q2 quarterly taxes the other day to wrap that up. That had to be done by the end of July, and I got that done. So it's kind of weird to get done with Q2 and kind of be looking at Q3. And it's, yeah, the year is moving. And I feel like every year I put so much on my to-do list. And while I am working it, I'm like not as far along as what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because
I know you wake up with great ideas because in the morning you're fresh, you have so much energy, and you have this long to-do list. You're going to knock out all this stuff, and then something always is a road bump. One of those things takes longer than you thought, or you got a flat tire. I mean, it's always something. So I know I always start off with loftier goals.
Yes, but I do like to mention it here because, we do talk about our goals and this and that. And so, if you aren't getting as much done as you hope to, or you're not where you are in life like you wanted to, you're in the same boat as the rest of us. There's nothing to feel like. We all are there. We're all right there with you. Don't let anybody make you feel like they're, doing it better than you are, because I'll watch the organizing hacks and the time management hacks and this hack, all these things. And you're like, oh my gosh, if they could do it, I could do it. And guess what? They're not doing it because they're in the same boat as all of us.
We're all just trying our best.
Yes. And so I make it lists every weekend and, for like, what do we want to accomplish? And I tell you, there's always things that don't get done. It is what it is. But, my bills are paid and there's food on the table. So
there you go. I will share just really quick here. I'm going to screen share the first topic. Okay, so in our Facebook group, I just found this out yesterday. I had no idea. So I put this post in the Facebook group that Amazon has suddenly stopped bidding on Google shopping ads as of July 23rd, 2025. So just a couple weeks ago. And so it's marking its first full retreat from the platform since 2020. This has opened the door for other advertisers like Walmart, Target, and smaller Amazon sellers to capture more impression and enjoy lower cost per clicks. Experts report cost per clicks have already dropped 1 to 4% on average, with some product categories seeing reductions as high as 40%. For Amazon sellers running off Amazon campaigns, now may be the perfect time to test Google shopping ads at a lower cost. I want to say that I work with several clients helping them manage their advertising campaigns. And not all categories are created equal. So if you are a brand or you want to start making your own brand on Amazon, look into that before you marry a product, because I can tell you the pet category is so incredibly competitive. The cost per clicks in the pet category for the pet product companies I have helped, I mean, the cheapest click is about $3. On average, they are between $5 and $10 per click. I mean, it is astronomical. So I'm guessing, I don't know, but if Google is reporting that there's been about a 40% drop on some. I'm wondering if that maybe is pets. I personally would never want to do a pet product now that I've been exposed to how much ads cost and how competitive pet products are. But consider those. So if you are somebody where you are doing your own custom listing on Amazon, you can advertise your Amazon listing on Google, which is really great because most everybody searches on Google. Not everybody's necessarily shopping on Amazon or looking for that item on Amazon. Think about how you shop as a reseller, and maybe you are trying to find the Old Spice, Bear Glove deodorant, and you know that you can buy it at Walmart or Walgreens or CVS. You know that you can get it at a lot of places, so you're trying to find it at the lowest price. You're not necessarily going to each one of, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens individually. You may do a simple blanket Google search and see what stores come up as your best price. Well, think about that for any shopper shopping, to buy a playpen, a car seat. Of course, I got baby on the brain since my life revolves around a baby, but I'm going to go to Google first. So it can really benefit you to advertise through Google Ads. You can open up a Google AdSense account, and you can use the Google Trends, the Google keywords, and you can set up a budget. You can do all of this through Google the same as you do on Amazon.
Yeah, I was noticing. Well, first,
you can show up. Yeah.
Pen, and you're right. There is no Amazon because it used to be dominated with Amazon up top.
That's right.
Here. We've got Wayfair, Home Depot. Home Depot has playpens. Okay, Walmart.
Home Depot, like Target and Walmart and Amazon, has third-party sellers. So that's why you see stuff like that on Home Depot.
Got it. Target. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, and if you're a Walmart seller, Target and Walmart, theirs are still going to appear there because they do still advertise on Google. So if your product is on Walmart, you will benefit from Walmart advertising on Google.
Yeah. I was trying to look it up, but I can't seem to find it. There was a good Amazon. Just a moment. Let me shut my door so my family doesn't.
Quiet, loud. Quiet in the house. No.
Well, they know I'm live, and then they're just up there for anywho. So there was a good one. I can't find it right now, but it was put out, I'll say less than 2 weeks ago. And it was a good breakdown of Amazon's performance over the last couple of years. And their major income is from advertising, and that went over their work source too. And the problem is, according to this video, they have dumped a ton of money into AI. AI has been their thing, company-wise, where they're going to put money into. And while other companies may put money into, say, a real estate, all you're doing on the books is changing your cash for property value, right? But when you go into computer and AI development, you're exchanging that cash and then it's got like no value. So you're losing value company-wide by putting that in there. The reason they're pushing that so hard is their turnover rate at the facilities is 150%, which means all of their employees are replaced about every 9 months. And they say within 10 years, they will run out of work. Like everybody that could have worked at Amazon has already worked at Amazon. They're done with it. So they will run out of physical people to work at the facilities. And that's why they are really pushing the AI so that they can replace people with robots, which makes sense. And I'm actually for this because the work is hard on the body and it's not a labor job. Like I want to see people enjoy going to work and sitting down and not being like abused physically to get a job done. And some of these jobs are repetitive and they're not like humans weren't built for that, right? They were built, to do many different motions and not just the same repetitive motion all and on and on. Now there was a little video that came across that the title is "The New Amazon Robot That Can Feel What It Touches." So that's interesting. They are making strides in that, and they are going in all in with the AI, but it is starting to affect their stock price. So that's why we're seeing some of these changes, and their stock is not deemed like a good purchase right now. If you were doing that, you might want to do a little bit more research, because to me, like, most of these companies are a good stock purchase. That you see the big ones, like, and I know in my 401k, I have a lot of whatever, the Apples and the Microsofts and the big companies are typically pretty solid, but now they're saying that you may want to back out of the Amazon one. But we'll see. We'll see if they can do it. If they can replace their peoples with robots, that would definitely help them as a company. It also went into how the reselling, particularly with third parties, is just barely profitable, if anything. It is almost break even. Where they make their money now is selling the advertising space.
And
We are the
commodity
commodity.
has gone up high from when I first started. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that their customers are not, Joe and Ma that are buying Amazon products. It is other companies to buy the advertising. That's who they are. That's their target customer.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that purchase items, that is, you're selling the access to those people. So it was a good little 15-minute video. I wish I could find it. If I think of it, I will try and find it and put it into our group for people to watch. All right.
Now,
sorry.
you want me to share about the Amazon seller feedback?
Yes. Okay. Let's see here. I think that's this one, right? Yes.
Yes. So all of you should have gotten an email. It maybe got buried. Could have been one of those emails you just delete and didn't read. This is out of Amazon forums, but Amazon sent all of us an email the other day explaining that they are changing their rating system. So their rating system now has an update. So you can go ahead and read that little blurb.
Well, okay. Are you saying like they can, or you want me to read it?
Oh, you can.
Thanks. Thanks, Tina.
Well, I know you can blow up your screen bigger.
I don't, maybe. Let's see here.
All right, I blew mine up if you want me to.
No, it just blew this.
Yeah, and this goes in effect tomorrow, everybody. So this goes in effect tomorrow.
Oh, there we go. All right. So tomorrow we'll launch a simplified experience for customers to provide feedback on you as a seller. Customers can now provide star-only ratings without written feedback. That will make it hard to challenge, in addition to the option to provide written feedback if they choose. Our preliminary tests show that this simpler process helps sellers collect more ratings faster. That is true. I would like to get ratings faster. We also found in our tests that many of the star-only ratings come from customers who had positive order experiences, but previously did not give written feedback, which in turn may lead to an increase in the average seller ratings for many selling partners. Customers will be required to select a reason before they can submit a rating below 4 stars. We'll review the reason to ensure this meets the seller feedback eligibility criteria. For example, if a customer leaves a low rating because they are dissatisfied with the product, we'll automatically omit it because it's not relevant to your performance as a seller.
Which that's not bad.
We've also implemented solutions to allow us to automatically detect and remove abusive feedback. Please do that more, without any action required from you. If you believe a rating with or without feedback is abusive, you can request additional review through report a violation.
So it'll be interesting. You may find that you are now getting a lot more 5 stars, because people can just click the button. Those that are going to do the 1 star, we're going to do it anyway. I'm guessing there's going to be a drop down as to why they want to leave the 1 star, but without written, that's where I'm a little confused. How can I challenge it when I don't know the reason? And is it going to turn into something like where, when somebody wants to get a free return, they'll say, oh, the item is not as described, because they don't want to have to pay return shipping. Will it get to be where, the customers are savvy and they're going to say, they're going to choose the reason that allows them to leave it? I don't know. I'm always looking for the loopholes of people to do the naughty stuff to help protect and challenge it. But I hope it will be for a good thing. I want to acknowledge you, Armand, and say good morning. Hello. Thanks for hanging out.
Yes, I think this is overall going to be good because everybody wants more reviews, right? And a lot of us use review automation like review feedback. And so if it increases your reviews by 10, 20%, and it's mostly positive reviews, that'll be great. Because if you know, and if you're in private label or even selling anything, negative reviews tend to really hurt your product. And if you have only 5 reviews and one of them's negative, that's a big percentage, right? So if you then have 15 reviews and one is negative, then that's a lot better and it's not going
Yeah,
to
because
hurt
it can
you
take that
much.
5-star down to a 3-star just because of one review, and it will hurt your listings. I've had listings die because of one bad review, especially when it was a newer one you were launching. Sometimes people are jerks, sometimes it's a competitor. It could be any number of reason. And the thing is, a review on your product on Amazon is different than your review that's left for you as a seller. So as a seller, a lot of times we can get those removed, by submitting a case with that feedback removal, but it is impossible to get that product review taken away. And so I've had to pull inventory out that my listing tanked because of one bad review, redo a listing and start all over from scratch. And that's never fun. That's very rare. I've had that happen maybe 3 times over the years, but nonetheless, when it happens, it's a challenge.
Yes. All right. So I have a story about reviews to share. One of my clients sells in the North America stuff and then launching in Europe, but we noticed that there was some bad reviews coming from India, and I'm like, don't sell to India. We don't merchant fulfill to India. We don't sell to India. Like, nothing to do with India here. But that is a good platform if you're looking for another area to launch. India is a fast growing marketplace over there. So went and did some investigating, and this person set up a complete shop, copied all of the American listings, bought a knockoff from probably Temu or something, and was selling a really crappy product on all of the listings and making goodness knows how much off of the backs of the brand that I work for. So tried to go round and round, and it was really difficult with brand registry. In order to make a violation on the listing, they were like, but this is your listing. So I couldn't report the listing because it's our listing. Like, they just used it over on the different India platform. Okay, so then I was like, well, let's see about reporting the actual product. And they required a test buy. And we're talking probably about 300 products over in India. I'm like, we do not have the time and the means to test
Right. That'd be
buy
very expensive.
300 things over in India and try to get the shipping because we don't have an India address. Like, not feasible. So then I wrote a violation wordage through just like the regular brand registry support. And of course, they give me the cookie cutter, follow these instructions to report. So that was irritating. So I was still going down that, and I said, well, let's just try directly messaging the sellers. And like, we get those all the time. Get off my listing.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're legit and sometimes they're not. So I went into ChatGPT and I said, craft me a threatening letter to take down a listing, da da da. Well, I guess ChatGPT won't do threatening. They said, here's a professionally firm and serious takedown letter. This version is direct, authoritative, and legally appropriate without sounding unhinged or crossing into illegal threats. So
I love ChatGPT.
So ChatGPT will not do threats. Mob bosses beware. I guess, yeah, it's fine. I mean, I don't consider myself a mob boss, but I did want threatening. So this is what it came back with. And I absolutely loved it. I felt that it was very firm and appropriate and exactly what I wanted. So it did know what I wanted. And, feel free to pause and copy this if you need this for your own private label item. I felt that it was threatening enough, and it was within 24 hours because we put in there like a written confirmation within 48 hours.
Right.
within 24 hours, they wrote back and they're like, all ASINs deleted. It wasn't good English, but all ASINs deleted.
Yeah.
So it worked. And now I got to babysit India though. And with this review thing, I got to see what reviews, because they were all bad reviews. That's how it flagged us, because we were like, why are all the reviews
Yeah,
coming
now
in
you've
so
got to
bad?
fight how to get those taken down. Yeah.
Yes. One thing at a time. I swear, I'm just always battling over there. Anyhow, that was kind of a fun ChatGPT thing.
Well, especially when it works. It's always like, oh my gosh, finally.
It
Amazon
really
won't
wants me to
notice it. Thank
see,
you,
like,
ChatGPT. And then thankfully that seller took it seriously, because they could have easily just ignored it.
and I don't know. I'm very much, what if ChatGPT starts getting even like, okay, can just hypothetically, let's say you started asking ChatGPT like, how deep should I bury a body, and
Oh my
how should I
gosh.
do this, or how should I do that? At what point is it going to be like, we've informed the police and they are coming on the way? We don't
Yeah,
want to be involved.
I have no idea.
Because you see those in the movies.
Yeah, that would make a good movie.
All right. What was
Okay.
our next topic? Or are we
The
moving on to
next thing I
questions?
wanted to talk about, and this has been launched a while back, but a lot of sellers are starting to feel the effects of it this year. Sellers that have had products that have always done well, and they're noticing that their listings are struggling when they never have before. And like you had mentioned earlier, Amazon investing so much of their time and energy and resources into AI, as all of us have felt it with, getting product approvals, getting listings fixed, the canned responses we get. There's so much AI driven part of Amazon sellers accounts that have been deactivated because AI scrubbed it and said so, where you're not dealing with a human. And so these are the very frustrating parts. Well, Amazon had started, I think it was called Rufus the first time. I may be wrong, or is that what it's called now, that little AI box? But
Yeah.
I forget, there was like two different AI names before, like Amazon H1 and then H2. I don't remember what they were called. And now it's called Cosmo. So this is how Amazon pulls up
Sure?
I'm going to share. I'll share my screen here.
I got Alexa, Rufus, Q,
Okay.
and Amelia.
Okay, that's for searching. This is more for making your listing. If you want me to share my screen, I'll show the one article. I sent it to you the other day. I'm going to share my first this screen. This was an article I read, and I can put this the link to this article in the chat if anybody wants to read it, because it is an 8-minute read, it says here. See, this was released in January of this year. I only learned about this about a week ago, because I've been seeing a lot more chatter about this from some different companies. So the way what it boils down to is the way that we've always traditionally created our listing, doing a lot of keyword stuffing in titles and in our bullet points and in the back end, because that's how we dominated in conjunction with running Amazon ads for a lot of those same keywords. And this is how a lot of us are still making listings. So this article breaks down how this Cosmo works. So it's COSMO, think like cosmopolitan. So it analyzes the customer's behavior, it interprets their intent, and then it provides contextual relevance based on, the previous behaviors, and it leverages common sense. So then it gives you in this article some examples on how to properly write an Amazon product listing for Cosmo, because if Amazon is using Cosmo AI for what a customer is typing in the search bar when they're looking for something, you want your titles and your bullet points to align with that, so you show up in the search results. So it says here, make it clear how your product fits your customers' lives. For example, instead of simply describing a sleeping bag as lightweight, emphasize its suitability for backpacking trips where every ounce matters. and it wants us to focus on solutions to address their pain points. If you're selling winter boots, mention how they keep feet warm in freezing temperatures and offer reliable grip on icy terrain. And it goes on to explain. And this is a very, very good article. So if you are someone who does create your own listings, this would be a good article to read. I'm going to post it here in our chat for anybody that would like the link to it. Then I want to also share where I shared, going back to ChatGPT, like Armand says too, for such questions, always ask ChatGPT. I know he means to your humor thing.
Yes.
But,
asking for a friend.
Yeah. I want to share where I was conversating with ChatGPT. I asked it to read the article. So let's go up here higher. Oh, I don't know where the link is that I put this article in here. Oh, I'm in the wrong chat. Is it this one? I was asking about some car rentals. Oh, here we go. Because I'm traveling. So I was asking it for car rental help. I use it as my travel agent too. Okay. So I pasted that article that I just shared with you guys, and because I wanted it to read it. Mm-hmm. So it read the article, and then it is the Cosmo focus area, and then the strategy you can use, it gave me. And then I gave it a link to an Amazon listing. I just picked a random listing, and I said, rework this listing title based on Cosmo rules. And then here was the title of the Amazon listing. So here's the original title: Barossa Design Plastic Shower Liner Clear Premium Piva Shower Curtain Liner with Rust-Proof Grommets, 3 magnets, waterproof, cute, lightweight, standard size bathroom curtains, clear. Well, you can see they used clear in here, right here. They used clear here. We have the word curtain in here only once. I think shower is in here once. So a lot of the other words are in here once. I've had listings, and I know Lucy has listings suppressed because you might have the word clear in here twice. Maybe curtains are in there a few times. So Cosmos Friendly reworked it to say clear shower curtain liner, waterproof Piva bathroom liner with rust-proof grommets and 3 weighted magnets, lightweight, odor-free, easy clean plastic liner for tubs and showers. It flows a lot better. And it's almost like you would be talking to someone. A clear shower curtain liner. It's waterproof liner with rust-proof grommets. Where up here it says those things, but it doesn't flow.
So I do have a problem with that, though, because the new title requirements require you not to repeat words. Mm-hmm. So Cosmos should recognize that and not repeat words, but maybe
well, that's Cosmo is the rule. ChatGPT made the listing.
Gotcha.
And, like all things with ChatGPT, you have the human element where you have to read it and make changes where you need.
I'm just saying I would take that Cosmo and say, okay, and now redo this without repeating the words.
Yeah, absolutely. You could tweak that. And it says why this works under Cosmo. So I like that it's explaining it. Clear shower curtain liner is the main phrase up front for search relevance. The waterproof part adds material and use case. The rust-proof grommets and weighted magnets describes the features in intent matching terms. The odor-free, easy to clean adds the benefits that matter to shoppers. The plastic liner for tubs and showers is an alternate phrase. Amazon Cosmo can how do you say this word?
Semantically.
Thank you. And then, of course, the size. So it asked me then, would I like the bullet points and back-end search terms? Because ChatGPT is just used to working with me on listings. So that's how that was. And then the listing I used, like I said, was not my listing. It was just a random listing that I chose on Amazon. Yes. And I can show what that listing was just to see it. But this was the listing. I just copy and pasted their their title, they have sold 90,000 in the past month. So sometimes if you change your title, your sales can slow down. So I would probably recommend, if this was my client, don't mess with what's not broken. If you are normally selling 90,000 a month and now all of a sudden you've sold 1,000, then maybe this new AI Cosmo is screwing with your your searchability. So I just wanted to say that.
So I have a story about that as well, about if it's not broke, don't fix it. So
Yeah.
one of my clients, they're like, hey, this is one of my best-selling items. And somebody pinged them and gave them some free help in hopes to get hired on.
Yeah.
And it was utterly ridiculous help. I don't have it in front of me because I wasn't prepared for that. But one of the things it said was, instead of showing the item, show a model wearing the item and as your main image. Now, that's usually against terms and conditions. That's not how Amazon wants it. And they also said, since it's made in the USA, you should have a made in the USA stamp. Okay, fine.
Listing shut down.
So I was like, sure, I'll switch out the picture for you. And sure enough, it got flagged because made in the USA, whenever you have that written verbiage on there, that's against terms and conditions. So it immediately gets shut down. So I'm like, I don't know why this person feels the need to go out and try to get clients and is trying to help, give some free help. And it's not very good free help. Like, go back to the drawing board, honey. You need help yourself. Go learn what goes into a main image. The other thing is, a lot of images from back in the day didn't have to be zoomable. So if you all of a sudden have like things not showing up, it's because you don't have a zoomable image. Mm-hmm. And that is 2200 by 2200 pixels for Amazon. And I use either 16 by 1600 for Walmart or 1800. I want to say it's 1600 because Walmart, if you do 2200 by 2200, your image is now too many megabytes or mega whatevers, and it won't upload. So I have two standard sizes for Walmart versus Amazon. All right. Are we going into the questions?
Yeah, I have nothing else to share.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. I just, I wanted to go through some of the questions that we've had recently, and I got to get on that for replying things. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to read these and then kind of add some context, and then we will answer them. So what are the problems with using manufacturer barcode? Could inventory be commingled? I'm a reseller. Could the brand or Amazon, either one with the buy box, run out of inventory on the item and they sell something that FBA pulls from my inventory? Is that possible? Curious how the warehouse distinguishes by vendor when ASIN and FSNKU match and that item is being sold FBA by the brand, Amazon, and multiple authorized resellers. That was a word salad. I'm sorry. But so if you run commingled inventory, that means you can send in your product with just the barcode and it gets commingled into a pile. And when you get the buy box, they go in and they pull from that pile. Could be yours, could be somebody else's. You don't know. I can guarantee it ain't going to be Amazon's, because Amazon's in a pallet somewhere else in a different warehouse. It's not going to be dumped in with yours. So you now need to trust that other reseller has packaged and sent in the appropriate item. Mm-hmm. Depending on the item, that could be fine. That could be a can of worms. Things like a pair of socks. We'll just say a pack of socks. Did they put it in a poly bag? Did they put the right item in there? Did they make sure that they have clean products that are going into that bag? Do you trust that they packaged them up well enough? Versus, let's say, a vacuum cleaner that's in a box, like taped shut. Do you trust that they didn't send in some sort of returned item that may be missing parts? Because if there's any sort of complaint on that product, it goes on you, not whoever they pulled from. So that's commingled. Now, certain items cannot be commingled. Food items cannot be commingled. You have to have an Amazon barcode on it designated for you. And I barcode all my items, unless if it's a private label item that I have a UPC code for, and I'm the only seller. If I'm the only seller, I love using manufacturer barcodes. I do not want to do an extra label for it. This is where what happens. I get caught up with a lot of private label people that are like, oh, I bought this UPC code, and my manufacturer's already printed it, and I've printed 8,000, and I'm going, okay, and it's in the food, and you can't print that UPC code. You need to cover it up. And they're like, I have to unpack 2,000 items and put the right barcode on, or pay 55 cents an item.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I didn't know that.
I believe I just read recently that Amazon is going to stop now labeling. Some people send them in and let Amazon or you pay them to label them like they do it intentionally. I think I read recently that Amazon is going to stop that service.
Well, I hope not.
I know, but I feel like I read that, so we may need to look into that.
You mean a gajillion other people? There's a lot of people that use that service.
Mm-hmm. And right. I could be wrong, but I feel like I read that this week.
So on one of my videos describing how to find out an expiration date, they wrote, what gets me is the code starts with 2 letters followed by a series of numbers. Okay, I have no idea what product you're looking at. What you need to do is go out to the internet and type in whatever the product brand name is and figure out how they decipher their lot code. So if you have a Maybelline product, go to Maybelline's website and see how to read the lot code. They will have it. 99% of the time, the beauty products or the food products will have a breakdown of what their lot code is on the Google, on their company website, etc. And they will tell you how long the product is good for. So a lot of times it will be sunscreen or chapstick or something, and it will say, here's how to decipher when it was made. And let's say it was made January 1st of this year, and chapsticks are going to be good for X amount of years or months. And so you can figure out what that information is. Only once did I ever call a company, and you can do that. Pick up the phone and call and be like, hey, I have this chapstick. I got it for Christmas. How long is it good for? How do I know when it was made? You can play dumb, or you can be like, hey, I sell chapstick and I got it from my distributor. How do I figure that out? Your distributor might know as well, but I usually just go to the company source and figure it out. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of work to figure these things out.
A long time ago, we talked about this, and there was a website for, I think,
beauty. Oh yeah, there's websites out there too.
Yeah, where you can punch it in and it will decipher it for you. So that is something to look for too. That works really well.
Exactly. I had a question on when pulling storage fees. They said, I do not have an estimated storage cost next month column. Well, then you might be brand new. If your products are under a certain age, if you're only 30 days old or 60 days old, you're not going to have that column yet. You will. Give it time. You will. The other thing is sometimes you pull reports and it will look different based on how old your account is and when the video was made. So all new accounts as of like February of this year have a different dashboard than us with older accounts. It's a completely different dashboard. Yes. So I don't know how to navigate it very well.
In fact, the advertising board can look different in some accounts, and sometimes it switches over. The one thing I don't like about the new advertising console board is when I want to sort the spend column, or because before it was like a Google sheet, you can click it again, and well, that doesn't work on the new one. You cannot sort things, and so
I thought I was going crazy the other day.
No, you can once you click into that one, like the main one, you can't. That lists all of the but once you go into each individual one, you can support them or sort them individually at the individual level, but not all up front, and it's very frustrating.
So along with that, I used to have it sorted to just do my active campaign. So I only had, what I'm currently spending on. And now I'm getting more than just my active ones. I also get like ones that have finished out, and I can't get it back to my normal settings. I had to look for an old campaign for some reason, and now I can't get back to my right settings. It's so frustrating.
Oh, I can probably help you with
All right, I might need help on that one because I went to go do it back and I'm like, what the? It's not working the way I want to.
I thought your next question here that somebody asked is a really good question. I'm going to go ahead and even post it here.
How'd you do
I
that?
am the manufacturer. If I delete my item, will I lose the 112 reviews? They have an internal error with my manufacturer barcode and I can't replenish.
Something's going on there.
Yeah. But the
So
first part of this question is, as far as if I delete my item, will I lose my 112 reviews? Amazon, as you and I both know, has us delete items in order to fix listings sometimes. And you're afraid to delete it because if you do, well, it's going to go away. And I have inventory at Amazon. Like, what's going to happen? You know, that's so scary at the thought of deleting your listing, but you can delete it and it will be okay.
yes, so here's the caveats though.
Mm-hmm.
If you delete, you need to relist with the exact same ASIN or UPC code, preferably UPC code. If you try to list it back with the ASIN, you lose the UPC code linkage. I
I
don't know how
do.
it's, and so you won't be able to use like that barcode. You lose access to that barcode. Same with if you take your children and put them on a parent, do it by UPC code, not by ASIN. Otherwise you
And the
lose.
SKU. You want to save
Yes,
the
and the
ASIN, UPC, and your SKU.
so if
Those
you
are the
relist
three
it,
most important things.
if you relist it like that, you're good to go. Now I do have a product in somebody's account that you didn't use the UPC code. They did it under something else, and it's now just under ASIN. They will forever have to barcode those items. I can't do the barcode. If I delete and make it a new listing with the barcode, we then can use barcodes, but we lose all the reviews and all the history to that thing. Now, the other problem with deleting and relisting is sometimes the main contributor, I don't know if there's a better word for that, but it's the winning contributor to the item attributes gets defaulted to Amazon, and then it's hard to win that back sometimes, and that you just have to open cases and get that back to you as the owner. And sometimes that's ridiculous because I'll get it back and then I'm like, hey, I can't change this, and they're like, well, you're not the winning contributor, we take all the contributions for this. And I'm like, no, I'm the only person. Give it back to me. Whoever's winning right now is not the winner. I'm the winner, not you guys. So it does default back to Amazon. You have to get that back, which is irritating. Let's see here. This is a Temu question. What if I'm located outside the United States? Can I still sell on Temu? Do you know that? I
I have
didn't know.
no idea. I mean, obviously, a lot of them are Chinese sellers, so I would think so. I am not familiar enough with it to answer that.
And I think that if you have all of the business stuff and the verification stuff, there should be no reason why you can't pass that. All right. I'm curious how you get calculated shipping cost on a package. Do you measure it where it is? Do you measure it as if it were a box and the only reason to use poly is to cut down on weight? I'm not sure what the question is, but how do we calculate shipping costs?
Yeah, because the calculated shipping cost to me is our calculated shipping cost of our actual shipments going into Amazon,
No,
perhaps.
this is for FBM stuff.
Okay. And so they just mean I already packaged it up and I'm going to send it out.
Yeah, I guess like if you are, because we're getting ready for Q4, how do you, if you're out at the
So I
store
think they're
and you're
figuring
like,
out maybe how to do their shipping template. So then
if
for
you're
what
out at the store sourcing and you're like, hey, I want to sell this stuffed animal, it looks good, I'm going to FBM it for Q4. How do you know kind of
how much
what's
it's
an
going to
estimated
cost.
shipping cost?
Well, look, you're either going to have to carry a cheat sheet in your purse
That's a good idea.
or notes on your phone, or just from doing it for so long, yeah, you are a pretty good guesstimate. So usually if it's under a pound and it's going to fit in a box like 12 inches or smaller, it's likely going to be first class. And first class can range in prices up to is it 575? I want to say something like that. If it's over a pound, I generally in my head calculate 10 or 12 bucks for shipping, because it might be 8, it might be 11. So I
Yeah.
usually like to throw a $10 number on that myself, give or take a few, because you're going to win some and lose some on packages. So I generally guesstimate it in that way in my head.
FedEx Ground has been working for me on my eBay orders. That's
Yeah.
been the cheapest. And I've been paying about $7 there for FedEx Ground versus 8, 9 on UPS and USPS. And I know it's frustrating because it's always changing, and it changes with the weight and the this and the that.
And the time of year.
Yeah, the time of year and you just got to get used to different shipping hacks and tricks that are in there. I know one of the big ones is on Pirate Ship. If you take a box and put it into a bag, you're paying the poly weight versus the box weight, dimensional.
Yeah, I only use Pirate Ship for my eBay orders.
Yeah. And I've had cheat sheets where it's like, okay, if it's going to be over and under this, it's going to be this amount. And you can totally take a piece of paper and kind of mark a ruler on there. 12 inches is a good one, 6 inches is a good one. So you know what kind of poly bag it's going to go into. There's lots of different cheat sheet things that you can do to get an estimate. And you know what? If your margins are so small that factoring in a $2 leeway isn't enough for you, then maybe you need to not source that item.
Remember, Amazon gives you that shipping credit too.
Yeah.
On merchant fulfilled items.
Right. I'm just saying that if your margins are that tight that you can't have a $2 flexibility in your shipping, then that's, you need to source better margined items. I did we had an earlier thing and we were talking about keywords. eBay allows 80 spaces for the title, so 80 characters. Amazon went up to 200 characters, up from 150. So it's always good to know what your character limit is to maximize that SEO.
Yes.
All right. How do you deal with FBM return for a beauty item, like a bar of soap that customer says do not need? I know they can't send it back, but does the seller have to eat the cost? So basically, we have to give our beauty products away. Yep. I don't have a better answer for him. Pretty much.
Either. I don't sell a lot of beauty fulfilled by merchant. I've sold like Victoria's Secret body sprays and things like that in the past, but I've never done a great deal of beauty items FBM. Not enough that I feel confident in answering that. And I guess when I do, I've never had anyone open up a return.
Yeah, you're going to lose some money on products. No matter if you sell stuff, you are going to lose money on bad situations or actors or whatever. There's going to be acts of God. There's going to be, just things that happen. I've dropped something and broken it.
And I think they can send it back. I mean, maybe Amazon FBA doesn't allow it, but if you are fulfilling it by merchant,
you can request.
You can have them send it back to you. I don't see why not.
There's some things they won't have people send back.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're gonna have people that rip you off. You're gonna and it's gonna suck. And you know what? Get a punching bag and deal with it, because that is the price of selling stuff. If you had a mom and pop store, you could be broken into. You could have vandalism. You could have people that shoplift. It's going to be the same type of egregious towards you. And it's unfortunate, but it is life, and you have to be okay with having that. It happens. We've all been wronged by somebody.
All of us. Every single one of us resellers. And those that tell you otherwise are just not telling the truth.
Correct. All right. How to pass hazmat and doing a video. So this was on a video showing how to do that. So I felt that was kind of weird. But this is particularly for hazmat for batteries. And again, another topic going into Q4. If you're going to sell any doodad that has batteries, I'm looking for something that has batteries. I don't think I see anything around my desk as a thing. But let's say you have a little toy, like the little tykes, the gadgets that make little music sound, right? And you're going to sell that. You may get caught up in needing a hazmat sheet because it has batteries in it. This is a really easy sheet. It's in there. You just download the Excel sheet and you fill it out and you upload it. It is literally that easy. Now, sometimes you do have to look up the batteries, which again, Google is there. If you can't open the machine and look, you can look at, little Tykes, whatever toy car, and what battery is needed for it. And then there's drop-down lists. Is it lithium? Is it AA? Is it AAA? Is it whatever? And it is that simple. But I've had people who've contacted me who have thousands of items. One person was selling like one of those little portable fans you fan yourself with.
Mm-hmm.
And they messed up because they told Amazon there was no batteries, but the literal title is fan with batteries. So it got flagged, and then they had everything stopped, and we uploaded it, did it really quick. You do need to have Excel. That is another run-in that I have with these people is they want to use the Mac stuff. And I'm like, Mac stuff ain't going to work. So if you find yourself in
because you've had to help me countless of times.
Yeah, you got to have an Excel thing to get it. And you have to follow the instructions. So if it says, here's the Excel sheet and it's in macro form, but you have to upload it in text or not macro form, then you have to save it like that. So that's the other big hurdle that I see people getting into.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we got one last question. And then if anybody else has questions for today, go ahead and ask them now so we can address it. So we've been selling an ASIN for years. Now the system has flagged it as suspected IP. Brand is brand field 1. Brand in the manufacturer is 2. Brand in the title is number 2. We buy directly from brand number 2. We have an authorized letter, etc. Brand registry rights. We do not want to lose the ASIN as it is a good bestseller rate already. Brand 1 is also a dealer of brand 2. How can we keep the ASIN?
I had to read that twice to get it. So it's like brand 1 and brand 2. So there's 2 brands on this listing. So
I think it's one of those, like how parent companies can have their line, like Walmart is great value or
right. So it has so it might say Walmart. In the brand field is say Walmart. The manufacturer is great value. The brand in the title is great value. We buy directly from great value. So it's like that. Mm-hmm. It is the way they worded it, essentially. And so they have an authorization letter, brand registry rights. So they would have brand registry probably for great value in this scenario. We do not want to lose the ASIN. And brand 1, Walmart, is a dealer of brand 2, great value. And I'm surprised it's coming up as a suspected IP because who could do that except for brand 1 or 2?
No, it can. So there's certain ones that are locked down. Like Hasbro owns My Little Pony and a bunch of different things. Yeah. So I think what is happening is like Hasbro is kind of locked down, and so that's what's flagging it because it's just a suspected, and that's all algorithm based. It's not like Hasbro is saying that, it's just suspected. So I think what you ought to do is get that letter of authorization to include that so-and-so is a subsidiary or is the parent company or whatever it is into that letter of authorization. Then you can just upload that. You have to tie the two together. Sometimes you can by doing it on the internet, and then on the internet it will have that, hey, this Hasbro is the owner of blah, 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 blah brands, and you can tie them together that way. But having the letter of authorization would be the easier way to go.
All right. I think we have another question. Melinda is asking about Google Ads. Do you advertise under the business name or it should be can, or can you advertise under a display name? And then she corrects it, can you advertise under the display name? That is a good question. It's been a while since I've done a Google ad. I'm going to work on it this week. So I guess I can figure that out and let you know. I suppose it's however you set up your Google account. And what I'm curious about is when we see Google ads, does it show the name of who's advertising it? That's a really good question, how it will appear in the search results. I had not thought about that, Melinda. I guess I'm going to have to look into Google Ads as I set mine up and see what it looks like once I actually run the ad. Or we could probably call Google Ads support.
So Google Ad typically uses your business name in search ads, not a display name. The business name is pulled from your Google business profile if your company is linked to it, or you can specify it in Google Ad settings if it's not linked. So a little bit of a breakdown there. Looks like that. But yeah, there's definitely more into, oops, almost removed Tina. There's definitely more to this question than meets the eye. And that's
what a great question, though.
Yes, very great question. And that names are important. I've dealt with a lot of companies, and one was the worst, where they had the company name was different than the DBA, which was different than the Amazon name of their seller account, which was different than their brand registered name, which was different. And then they were selling a book, so you have to have the author's name, which was different than the account holder's name. And I'm like, nothing's tied together. It's you kind of want to have names be flowing together a little bit. Otherwise you have problems like that. Now, I'm not saying that it's not doable, but very good questions there, Melinda.
Yeah, I guess for me, on my items that I have as a private label, I would want my Google Ads to come up as that brand name, rather than my business name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely right, because I know my business name is kind of generic, and then I have brands that I sell, and I'd want to promote the brand, not necessarily the company name.
Very good question. Thank you, Melinda, because when I go in there to figure that out, now I'm going to have that thought in my mind.
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out and get back to you. It's always changing. Oh, and then there's videos on why your business name gets disapproved by Google Ads. Yeah, we were talking about that for trademarking and different names that we could.
Yeah, because I think it would be fun to, either advertise one product or a line of your products on Google and say throw $100 at it, which isn't a lot, but just to test it to see, hey, did it drive any traffic? Did I get sales? Was that $100 well spent? I think $100 is good for an experiment.
And I'm interested, so maybe you need to do the video. Oh, next weekend I can't do the video. I'm going to be out in the wild doing oysters.
Camping trip, right?
Yes, camping, and we're going to go get butter clams and oysters. So I'll be out in the water. I'll be out in the Pacific Ocean here. But maybe the next weekend we can do something on that, because I'd be interested. Walmart advertising is an arm and a leg. They need a minimum of $10 a day, $300 a month minimum to advertise on Walmart monthly. And I did that for a month, and I got like $80 in sales. I'm like, this is not worth it. This is garbage. Yeah. Even some of my bigger accounts, the Walmart advertising is not.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Walmart advertising. There's a lot about Walmart I don't like. Mm-hmm. And then there's things about Walmart that I do like, right? Same with like Amazon and eBay. Amazon is definitely still the GOAT, right? Oh, yeah. And Walmart, at least it was not as stressful. But now Walmart recently, with all these account deactivations, it just reminds me of last year's Amazon account deactivations. And I know I spoke about this last week too, because I follow the different Reddit threads where, sellers are talking. And there's so many sellers that got deactivated recently. And a lot of them, they don't even know why. There was no warning. There was no letter. And at least with Amazon, you can open up a case and get an answer, even if it's one you don't like from somebody overseas.
It may not be the right answer. That's the other problem.
But with Walmart, you don't get any answer. Like I said, I tried to apply to sell Squishmallow on Walmart. At this point, it's almost been a full year. I've, in that case, said, I've been waiting months with no answer, and I've still never gotten an answer on Squishmallow to this day. And the
I,
Squishmallows I used to ungate are just still sitting in a closet here at my house.
I did get answers from Walmart the other day. I can't remember what the question was off the top of my head, but they did walk me through it. Oh, it was on the chemicals. And so I did get two out of my 3 listings. I got to check on the third today, but uploaded and through Hazmat. So I can now send the crap in, which is great. I've been
Good.
fighting with Walmart like over a month on it. But yeah, so shout out to April, told me about the website URL. And that was great. And then I had to put that in 2 spots. There was like
Yeah.
an SDS spot and then another spot for ingredient
It's
list.
very easy. Yeah.
Yeah. And she said that I had to change. This was the response from Walmart, but that was helpful. That since it was a chemical, I had to switch it from not a chemical to a chemical. And so anyhow, there was like 2 or 3 other things that I was not putting in correctly. And she was helpful. So I'm just one of the few times they're helpful.
Isabella says she applied for Squishmallows last year too and never got an answer. So at least it's not just me, because I applied for 3 different toy brands using 3 different methods. And I used, one was an Amazon purchase from Amazon to ungate on Walmart. One was, I want to say it was like a Walmart purchase with a receipt. And then the third was buying it from an authorized distributor with an invoice. I wanted to try 3 different ungating methods on Walmart to test the waters to see how it worked, because Walmart was new for me. And the Squishmallow was from an authorized distributor with an invoice. And so I thought that would be the best one of all. And it's the one I never got an answer. Now, is it because it's Squishmallow? Perhaps. I don't know.
Be doing it. Yeah, I don't know. All right, lady. I've got to get going. I'm going to go play tennis with my kiddo.
Oh, good for you. Good exercise.
Well, then do shipments. So,
yeah.
Shipments and tennis.
And today ASD started in Las Vegas, so I'm not going. But for anyone who is also not going, you can go to ASD online and see what vendors are there. If you're looking for some new accounts to purchase for inventory, keep that in mind. The current vendors are there. You can sort it by who's accepting, who allows e-commerce, who allows private label products. So that could be fun to look. And I think that's all I got.
All right. Sounds good. So not next week, but the following week, we will be back.
All right. Have a nice day, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. You too.